alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Everybody, welcome once again.
Oh, you cut out at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's a little shorter this tonight.
Well, I mean, like the hey actually cut out. I didn't even hear it.
Okay, well, let's start again. Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
Now I'm Chris.
And this is episode 237.
237. Yep.
Back in the virtual nerd basements, guys. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey, CD.
Hey, CD.
Good to see you. He has got to be our most consistent listener, viewer. So we really do appreciate you. Thank you very much, buddy. It is a very hot day here in Detroit, and the last couple of days the weather has been unbelievably weird.
It's a
lot of hot days and some holy shit tornadoes.
Yeah, it's supposed to cool off later on this week, though.
Yeah, it starts cooling off pretty much tomorrow and kind of goes down.
Thursday for the most.
Yeah, until we hit Saturday, I think, and then it starts climbing again. So
yeah, but I looked, and over the next 2 weeks, it's actually saying we're only supposed to be in the low 80s, so it's not saying 90s again. In the next couple weeks.
It does seem to be we're getting a little bit of a reprieve in as we go into August, but that doesn't mean much because
August will still be hot as balls.
Yeah, we're looking at Saturday 79, Sunday 76, Monday 74. Mid to upper 70s until next week. So that's the 10 days. So that's pretty great. You're going to give us a little reprieve and be a little more comfortable at the studio next week. But yeah, Saturday, holy shit balls, man. We had like multiple tornadoes touch down in the Detroit area.
In Michigan in general, there were 4, I think.
It was pretty crazy. So kind of recap, Saturday over the weekend, I worked at the Canterbury Village medieval stroll as Oliver Ogre and had a great time. Just a great time. It was a fantastic little event.
I've got a basement CD.
Yeah.
Actually, Michigan has a lot of basements.
Correct. Yeah. So do I. I have a basement.
So actually, one of the things that was weird to me moving out of state was seeing the lack of basement places.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, Michigan has we have a lot of basements. It can be a real pain in the ass when things flood.
Yeah. Well, and also you get the what's referred to, at least here, as the Michigan basement, which is the basement's only about 4 feet down. And then the steps for the house actually go up, so the basement's actually built up. And sometimes you can even wind up with a walkout basement when you're not built into it. Yeah,
and that's different from a tri-level. Tri-levels are also different. But anyway, so yeah,
or a bi-level even.
Yeah. So anyway, I was working at this event, a mini Ren Fair. It was really great. We got some great response from my character. He went over well. And had just a really great time. It was balls hot, though. I mean, it was particularly Saturday and Sunday both. It was really, really hot, and I've been doing this a long time, so I'm very used to wearing Renaissance garb in full, in hot weather. But Oliver is a lot more layers than some of the other outfits I've worn, so it was a little more intense.
You need to build in one of those cooling packs.
I'm working on figuring that out eventually. At the very least, I may just have like gel packs that I just put under my hockey pads that I wear.
But you need like one of those little, like a water cooling system, like for the computer.
Man, I ain't got that kind of scratch. Come on, dude.
They're not that expensive anymore. But
actually, there was a guy walking around at the stroll in full plate mail armor, that had a water cooling system through it. He had like a pump in a bag, like next to him, kind of, and you could see the tubes that were running into the armor. It was actually pretty cool. But no, I
bet it was for him.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so later that night, Saturday night, I get dinner with a couple of my friends at the Five Guys near Great Lakes Crossing Mall, and then we look out the window, and it's 8 o'clock when the sun would still be up, and it looked like it was 11:30, and the rain was coming down in buckets. The trees were whipping around, and then all of a sudden, everybody's phone just went off at the same time, and with a tornado warning. And so then we all kind of like sheltered in place. We were like, let's get away from these floor to ceiling windows that is the front of this place. So we went to the back and kind of hung out there until it started to calm down. The thing is, it calmed down up in Lake Orion, but I still had to go to Detroit. And for those of you guys who don't know the Detroit area, the Lake Orion is about 25 miles, 30 miles north of, give or take, about 25 miles north of Detroit. And I'm just barely north of Detroit, like a mile north of Detroit. So I had to get on I-75, go south through the wrath of the Almighty. It was like Thor called down a hissy fit. It was somebody was mad. So and I get there, and there's a lot of construction on I-75 right now, and 8 Mile and 9 Mile are both the exits.
Decades worth of construction.
Yeah. 8 Mile and 9 Mile are both blocked off at the moment. And so I had to go down to 7 Mile. And so I get off in 7 Mile and I turn, and I'm just going to go up. Let me finish. I'm going to go up John R. And in between 7 and 8 Mile, Chris, John R. was flooded almost the entire way. I would drive an Escape. I'm not super low to the ground. And I didn't think I was going to make it a couple of times, man. The water came up the hood. It was crazy pants.
Well, so my question is, and knowing where you are and all that, and having the fact that you've lived in the Detroit area for a long time, you've lived over there for, quite a number of years. Why did you choose to not go down 696 and take that way in rather than go all the way down to 7 Mile?
Because honestly, it was just the weather was so crazy and so nuts. I mean, it was just like I had a tough time even changing lanes. So getting over onto 6 Mile and taking it to Hilton and Cousins, I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, I just got to stay on this road and I got to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gone to Hilton, or you could have even gone to the the Cousins exit's actually open now, but the Quinder and just headed down that way, and it would have been easier and not through such a shady area as.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. It John R and 7 is kind of shady, that's for sure. So, but it was like. It was just nuts, man. And then the funny thing is, by the time I got home, man, most of the rain had really kind of petered off. It was like we got something like six inches of rain in like an hour. It was nuts, man. It was crazy. Anybody that tells me that global warming is not a thing, they can suck a dick. Or not global warming, climate change. Climate change can suck a dick, because that's ridiculous. 75 looks like 1990s Dayton right now. Jesus Christ.
It does. Well, actually, not even 90s Dayton. It looks like 2000s Dayton.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they had construction on 75 through Dayton for about 15 years. Because they rebuilt everything, and most of Dayton is on a bridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, CD, honestly, a pontoon would have been a big help, man. It's just kind of. It was crazy. You need to make your Escape into a duck boat,
right? Or a duck truck.
But I mean, you could have paddled a canoe on John R through a lot of that way. It was crazy. But so that was the weather, and then Sunday, of course, it was gorgeous all fucking day.
Yep. Well, Saturday, Renee and I went out. I had my other D&D game on Saturday, and then which really kind of didn't happen because one of the guys hadn't actually created his character in D&D Beyond, and we struggled to get him loaded up into D&D Beyond. So we spent a lot of time doing that and just kind of chatting while we were doing it, and then decided to just call it because Foundry also took a shit that afternoon for about an hour and a half, or for about an hour. And then So everyone was like, my one buddy was like, well, anybody wants to come over for drinks and cigars, come on over, or pipes. And Renee and I were like, all right, well, we'll head over. We're going to go grab some food first. So we went up to B-Dubs to get food. And we're coming out as we're seeing the sky darken. Now, it wasn't actually raining yet. But as we're walking to the car, it was when we walked out, we saw that my car had been hit in the parking lot. In the back quarter.
That's some bullshit.
Went back in to talk to the guy inside, and as we're walking back in, the sirens went off. And yeah, it was a hit and run. I was hitting the parking lot, and no notes. Nobody came in and said, "Hey, I hit this car." Nothing like that. The manager looked at the security and said, over the last hour, he sees one car go in right next to us. He could see us, saw one car go in, but he couldn't give us any info. So I called the police department. They said, "Oh yeah, they won't send anybody out for that. So you'll have to come into the station and make a report." Luckily, the station is actually right on the way to my buddy's house. So we stopped at the station and got there just as it started raining a little bit. And by the time we came out, buckets were being dumped down.
Yeah. It was insane. And we've had, July was a pretty wet July this year.
Yep.
Man. We've had some pretty serious rain.
Well, we were down rain for a little while, and then all of a sudden we've just started getting over the last, I think June was really dry, and we were like 6 inches down. And then since the end of June till now, so in the last 2 months, it's been really wet. I think there have been about an equal number of rain and non-rain days. Yeah. And not just like little sprinkles, but like huge
torrential
storms, like storms that I haven't seen in Michigan. We might get one of those a year. We've gotten 5 or 6 that are just crazy.
Yeah, it's been pretty insane. So, but we should probably move on from the weather, because we're old men that like to talk about the weather every week. You got to talk about that.
I saw a thing years and years ago. This is almost 20 years ago now. The Weather Channel, MTV for old.
Yeah, very true.
But see, I remember the Weather Channel when it only did weather. And it's like MTV now. It's like they don't actually do weather. They do weather stories.
Weather stories. Give me a break.
I remember the days when if Jim Cantori came to town, you got the fuck out.
Head for the hills, man.
Because he only went where it was the worst.
Yeah, it's messed up, dude. So what was the rest of your week look like?
It was work. It was mostly work. And I'm on call this week, so if for some reason I have to drop and cut the show short, I'm sorry, but and it's also, if you hear my phone go off, it's because I can't actually turn it off, because I can't silence it, because I might get an alarm.
That's awesome. I'm glad there are.
And I've been taking care of Renee too.
That's right, because she's still convalescing from her shoulder.
Yep.
Right on. There are times when I'm really glad that I do not have a job where I am on call. Today we had guys come in from Barton Mallow, who's going to be doing all the construction on the new building for the parade company. And so they were walking around looking at and talking to the artists and talking to the management about what the new building is going to need and what we're going to want, everything. So that was pretty cool. We're still probably a good 3 years out before we actually move into the new building, but it's cool that they are moving forward and trying to figure that out and stuff. So, but I'm glad that, rarely are they going to call me for a parade float emergency. I used to get, when I was a DJ, I used to get called for emergencies, like when I was a DJ at the club and like maybe one of the DJs couldn't make it, or they had, somebody got drunk, and which happened a few times, and they'd call me to come in and finish out the shift. That was always embarrassing for the other DJ. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, well, I shouldn't have done that fourth, fifth, and sixth shot of Patron, dipshit. But yeah, it was funny. Like my ex-wife used to gripe because I had, always have my cell phone on me and stuff, and I was like, like DJs or somebody would call me with some kind of question, and it was sometimes just something as stupid as, "Hey, where's this one song?" And I'd be like, "Okay, it's under this file, or it's under, whatever." And Kirsten would be just like, "You're not on call. You're not a doctor." So, what are you drinking, man?
Well, I opened up a beer that I kind of forgot I had in the fridge. It was a gift from a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Called No Dignity Hazy IPA from Pigeon Hill, which is
No Diggity.
No Dignity.
I know, I get it.
Yeah. But it's brewed in beautiful Muskegon, Michigan. It's a hazy IPA. Who needs dignity when you have a juicy IPA? And it's got Chunk from Goonies on it.
Oh,
with a juicy tattoo on it.
Oh my God.
But it's actually been in the fridge for a couple of years, and when I poured it, it definitely poured hazy, and there's a lot of particulate matter in the bottom, which isn't necessarily wrong for a New England style, but it smells off though, and yeah, it tastes off. I'm not even going to review that because I don't think I can actually legitimately say what that is, because 2 years old, not so good.
That's a shame.
Yeah. It's one I just forgot about it in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know that I have anything else that I haven't actually at least not available to be drank at the moment. So I'm gonna just chill with some Two Hearted, I guess, tonight.
All right.
I'll try and make it up now.
Well, I got something a little newer, or something new anyway. I got something here from.
Well, hold on 1 second. It's not too bad to rate CD. It's that I don't think that this is the actual flavor profile that is true to it. So I don't want to give it a bad rating. It's not fair to rate. Yes, I don't think it's fair to rate it because it's not what that beer should taste like. At least I don't think so. If this is what that beer should taste like, then I would rate it hands down. But with it being 2 years old, I'm not sure that it aged well. IPAs don't necessarily age well. This one's only 6.7%, so it's not a high ABV. Like I actually had a 2-year-old Hop Slam a while back, and that tasted fantastic. Flavor profile definitely changed, but it was still good. This one actually, though, I don't think this one aged. So sorry, Russ. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm just gonna let you ramble on. I got something from Naughty by Nature, which is I have reviewed some of their stuff before. This is their Forbidden Fruit hard cider. It is a blackberry and blueberry, 100% Michigan apples. It's flavored with black and blueberry juices. It's interesting because it's in it's one of these tall, skinny cans with still 12 ounces.
Yeah, so it's in the
it's in the
seltzer can.
Yeah, it's in a seltzer can, which I'm like, all right, whatever. So I don't know about that, but it's let's see, I'm looking for the ABV. It's made in Michigan. ABV is 5.5, so about average. It's really good. Honestly, this is really, really tasty. It's very sweet though.
What? So is it just a straight?
It's very sweet.
Just a straight apple cider?
It's just a straight cider. It was black and blueberry.
Oh, so it's not a straight cider. It's black and blueberry.
Well, it's black and blueberries, yes.
Okay.
But it's not a mead. It's a cider, or not a sizer. It's
I missed
really
the black and blueberry part. That's why I was asking you.
not paying attention. I tell you guys, this partner of mine.
I was
I don't know
responding
what
to
the
chat.
hell. I don't know what the hell,
I don't
man.
listen to you anyway. I listen to you about as much as you listen to me.
So it's just rattle on. All right.
Oh yeah,
no,
you're one to talk about rattling on.
I am always rattling on. I'm the first person to admit that, man. I don't care. But this is a really solid cider. I'm really digging it. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. I'm definitely gonna pick this up again if I can. Problem with ciders like this, though, too, is a 6-pack, and it wasn't too pricey. It was like $10 for a 6-pack of like a craft cider. Honestly, that's about what I'd expect. But like I also picked up a 4-pack made for next week of the mead of the Sunrise Bay Bee Nectar mead, and I gotta admit, I mean, 4-pack of that was more expensive than the 6-pack of this.
Well, yeah, but that's a mead versus a cider.
Right, exactly, and I understand that. It's just, man, sometimes you get that sticker shock a little bit, though. You're like, geez, man,
honey's expensive, dude.
It is. Sure, no, I get it, but you're like, man, it's expensive to be a cider and mead guy. You're gonna go and you can buy a 6-pack of even craft beer, and still it's not going to be quite as expensive as a lot of these ciders and meads.
No, actually, they're about the same price.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you're
all right. So even so, I could get a 6-pack of PBR, and it's not going to be near what this was.
Well, no, not PBR, but like a 6-pack of Two Hearted is still going to be like $10. A 4-pack of pretty much anything. Well, like M53 is going to be like $15. 4-pack is 16 ounce.
Sure.
So.
Yep. So it's just nice. A lot, man. It's a lot. What's that?
He's got bittersweet from Left Hand. It's a good nitro imperial coffee milk.
Okay. Is that what's it called? They're called sleek cans, Renee. That's obnoxious.
Yeah, sleek style cans.
That's obnoxious. Okay. Craft anything is pricey. That's true. Yep. And it's the case with anything. Actually, it doesn't have to be just beer and or alcohol and stuff. Anytime you're paying, you're going to buy something a little more craft oriented. You go to go buy something off of Etsy, or you go to an artisan market or the Renaissance Festival. You're going to pay more because it's an artisan's thing.
So one more time, Russ, show the can again. What was that?
It's called Forbidden Fruit by Naughty by Nature.
Forbidden Fruit by Naughty.
Mm-hmm.
Not the band.
No. Yeah, Naughty by Nature is the brewery, I believe, or yeah.
Cidery.
It is Saint Julian, actually. This is from Saint Julian. So good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Check it out.
It looked like Saint Julian's artwork. That's
yeah. It's definitely on the sweeter side, though. This is a sweet cider, but it's I'd even say that it's almost a little too sweet, but it's still really a good cider.
So there have been a few deaths this week that are maybe worth noting. Jackie Mason is one of them.
Yes, Jackie Mason. Hey. Probably one of the more better known Jewish comedians. And I say Jewish comedian because that was his shtick. He was definitely, and Jewish comedians were, it's a particular style of comedy, and they were very well known. There's an entire like culture behind that. But Jackie Mason was probably one of the ones that crossed over into mainstream a little bit more than some of the other ones did. But yeah, he died, but he was quite old. He was
93.
In his 90s. Yeah, 93.
The one that was much more of a surprise that I just saw today is Joey Jordison, who's the former drummer for Slipknot.
Wow, yeah.
Passed away. Okay. He was only 46.
Yeah, you're younger than me, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I haven't seen why. I didn't read the article or anything. I just saw the announcement. It basically just family has requested privacy.
Oh.
So,
and didn't 2 members of Rat die this last week or something? like within a couple of days of each
a member of Cinderella died.
Cinderella,
like
that was
a couple weeks
Cinderella.
ago. Yeah, one guy from Cinderella died a couple weeks ago. Guitarist.
So who else? Did you have somebody else besides Jackie Mason?
Oh, Jackie Mason and Joey Jordison.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you guys might remember. I mean,
Slipknot.
Yeah, you guys might remember. I mean, Jackie Mason. One of his bigger roles was in Caddyshack 2. He was the kind of the lead in that. Yeah, it was a shame. But once again, 93 years old. This was not a tragedy. This was, just kind of an old guy.
Yep.
So yeah.
What do you want to start with?
Let's start with let's just kick it off the bat with He-Man. Okay, so as of Friday,
it's not He-Man, man. That's one of the things.
Masters of the Universe Revelation, correct. Friday, the new Masters of the Universe show, produced and co-written by Kevin Smith, opened up, and that was Friday the 23rd.
Yep.
Of July, and it had been highly anticipated. We'd seen images and the artwork, and everything sounded like it was looked great. Right, critics loved it. It's got a 93% critics thing on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's really great. But it has a 32%. Last time we checked, a 32% on the fan part of Rotten Tomatoes. And this is because the old school He-Man fans like me, that are my age, and your age, I mean, within our range, a lot of them are kind of hating it. Now, not all of them, but enough of them because, people that hate shit are loud and intolerant are loud, and they have been review bombing it. It got 435 reviews or whatever it was, and it shot down the reviews into
it had over 1,000 reviews, I think, on IMDb, and it was like a 4.7 or something like that.
Yeah, so which is good. 4.7 out of 5, or
no, it's out of 10.
Okay, out of 10. So it's kind of getting raked over the coals because of some of the story. Now they're everybody has admitted, and everybody's been very in agreement that it looks great. The animation,
animation is amazing.
It looks.
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, what people are mad about is the fact that there's not a whole lot of He-Man in the first 5 episodes.
Well, and that's the thing. They're like, how can you have a He-Man show without He-Man? And I'm like, and my first thing to say there is, it's not a He-Man show. It's Masters of the Universe. He-Man's name is not in it at all.
Correct. It's Masters of the Universe Revelation. Yeah, it's standing at 95% from the average tomato meter and 34 average audience score.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because I just looked it up too.
Okay. Now, Kevin Smith himself has come forward saying, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, he's pretty much blasted him. Well, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's too woke, too.
Right. That's the other thing. Because he uses Teela as the main character now.
Well, it's Teela, Evelyn, and Teela's friend.
Right.
Who's also a woman.
It starts with an A and
who's an engineer. Because that's one of the things I like. Now, it's the first episode sets the stage and basically gets rid of He-Man and Skeletor.
Right. They both, it's apparent that apparently He-Man sacrifices himself to, I don't want to do too many spoilers because it's still pretty new. But
I still haven't watched more than the first 2 episodes.
Right. So He-Man sacrifices himself to stop something that Skeletor did, which would have destroyed the universe. So He-Man breaks splits the power sword in 2, and
he doesn't do that on purpose. He just absorbs
the energy. It breaks the power sword in 2, or splits it in 2 in its component swords, and then he disappears. And
by the way, it's currently at a 4.8 out of 10 with 13,000 reviews.
Wow. Okay.
On IMDb.
Well, that's saying a bit more. I mean, obviously the fans are pissed. Apparently the fans are very vocal. And like I said, Kevin Smith has basically been saying, grow the fuck up, guys. Yeah. This this is the 21st century. It's okay to have stories that have that feature characters that you're, you know, not used to seeing. It's okay to have a strong female character, you know, or a strong female cast. It was Andra is the other female character. Now they also bring in a lot of other characters. There's Orko and Trapjaw and Roboto,
Triclops,
Stinkor, you know, Scareglow. Some of these characters that you don't even Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy does the voice of Merman. He's got, and the cast is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it is.
You got Chris,
honestly, one of the things that I like the most about the animation is the way that they draw Tila.
Absolutely.
She is a muscular woman. She is not.
She's not a delicate flower, for sure.
And they took her out of her sexy costume.
Oh,
and put her into like more like adventuring gear.
Right. Well, I mean, in the first episode, she's getting basically a promotion. She's getting named as a man-at-arms.
Yes.
And which is doesn't have anything to do with gender. It's just a title. And after years of work and after years of being Prince Adam's bodyguard, she's actually being recognized for all her hard work. And she's in the more traditional uniform that she had always worn. And then after the things and after things kind of happen, basically what happens is Tila finds out about the secret. She finds out about Adam, the fact that Adam is He-Man, and that all of her friends, or some of her closest friends and her adoptive father, have been hiding this from her.
Yeah.
That Adam was He-Man. Her best friend and all of her other friends, because Adam was her best friend. And so she gets fucking pissed off. And some people were criticized that change in her personality, that she basically says, you know, fuck this, and takes her tiara off and throws it on the ground, and then she goes off on her own and she's like, I'm out of here. And then the second episode, you see that she's basically working as a mercenary or
and I think
an adventurer.
I think part of that too was the fact that they knew that Adam had then died at that point.
Right.
And that was her too. That was also her dealing with grief. She went straight into anger.
Right. She jumped over. Yeah, she went right into anger. And like I said, a lot of people were kind of like complaining that, well, that's not the way Tila was. Tila in the old show was caring and sensitive and everything else. It's like, well, guys, this show may be a continuation of the original show, but it is still an evolution. It's a further evolution of these characters. This show is much better written than the old show was. The old show was written for kids, for fucking children. This is not. Characters die in this show. I'm not gonna tell you who, but characters sacrifice themselves. And I mean, hell, in the first episode, you saw this, Chris, where fucking Skeletor just burns Mossman to death.
Yep.
Like, burns him to death. And the interesting thing is the guy who did the voice for Mossman was the original Skeletor. Was Oppenheimer, I believe is his name. And he was the original voice of Skeletor. And they asked him to be Mossman because Skeletor is voiced by none other than the masterful Mark Hamill, one of the greatest voiceover actors of all time.
We actually have Batman and Joker on the same team.
They are both, they're both, because Kevin Conroy does Merman. And he says, I mean, at one point they were even able to be in the same room together when they were recording their things, their lines. Actually, there is a kind of a post-show kind of wrap-up show with Kevin Smith and the girl Tiffany Smith, who plays Andra, and one of the producers. They kind of host a half an hour kind of wrap-up show, and they interview several of the actors, including like Sarah Michelle Gellar, who plays Tila. You know, that's pretty awesome. And you got Lena Headey, who plays Eva Lynn. So the show goes from after the first episode into
Liam
the second.
Cunningham is
for as Man-at-Arms.
Man-at-Arms. That's
you know Liam Cunningham. He was the Onion Knight. He was Sir Davos in Game of Thrones as Lena Headey, who was Cersei. Stephen Root is Cringer and Battle Cat. Diedrich Bader plays King Randor and Trapjaw. Henry Rollins is Triclops. That was really awesome. Alicia Silverstone does the voice of He-Man's mother, Queen Marlena. Justin Long is Roboto. Jason Mewes plays Stinkor, which was hilarious. Phil
I didn't even
Lamar,
realize that.
yeah, Phil Lamar is he does a voice. Tony Todd does a voice. It's just some couple other ones later on. You're gonna see them as you watch the show. But Orko is in it. Griffin Newman, the guy, he was an actor who was on the new Tick show on Amazon. So he does Orko, and that's really great. The show is an evolution, and it's much better written. And as the second episode progresses, you see that this is now a team up between the forces of evil and the forces of good to try and save the universe because of what He-Man and Skeletor's final battle did. They basically destroyed magic.
It's obviously years later.
Well, I'd say like maybe 2, maybe 3 years later.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't think it's like 10.
They don't tell you how long, but I mean,
no.
The sorceress aged a lot.
Well, she aged because of her magic was gone. Yeah. But I think it's not like Teela is 10 years older. She's like, I mean, at best, I'd say maybe 3 years at the most.
Yeah, I was guessing it was at least 5 to 10 years later.
I don't think it's that far along.
Because there's a bunch of other things that have been taking place too. I mean, they've lost magic and they've started going to technology, and that's going to take time.
Yeah, but it was already a civilization where magic and technology worked together. Now instead, you lost magic and technology was taking over. Those things were already in place. Yeah. They just had to wait for an opening, and that's what happened with Triclops and Trapjaw. Kind of, what they did, taking over Snake Mountain. So, and that was
a spoiler.
Well, yes, sure. I'm not going much further past the second episode. I don't want to talk fast because you said you've watched the first and second episodes, right?
I just watched the second one today.
Okay. So yeah, and Triclops and his like cult of the motherboard and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be a bigger thing. We're going to see that later on. Well, now remember too, and the other thing that really pissed me off about why these fans are being so shitty. It's only 5 episodes so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's only the first half of the first
season. And Kevin Smith had said they're like, and some of the complaints were like, you gave us a Master of the Universe show without He-Man, and he goes, do you really think Mattel is going to pay me to make a show based on one of their properties and not have He-Man in it? That's absolutely ridiculous. So you will see more He-Man. You see He-Man in some flashbacks and stuff and whatnot. We will see more He-Man. We will see more Skeletor. It's just the first 5 episodes that we're seeing him use other characters and develop the show further, develop the characters. And I think that's what is ultimately going to win out in the end. I think they're going to get through the first season and people are going to be like, well, all right, I guess. But it's these armchair fucking warrior dipshits like online that are like, oh, it's too woke. You know what? Masters of the Universe was kind of misogynistic, guys. There was a bunch of muscle-bound white dudes on running around fighting each other. You had the occasional female character like Evelyn and Teela. Now granted, Teela was generally a pretty effective, warrior. She fought alongside He-Man most of the time. She wasn't a damsel in distress. She was a pretty cool character in her own right. Every once in a while, He-Man would have to rescue her or whatever, but it wasn't like she was the princess that always needed to be rescued. And I liked that. That was like she was a warrior in herself. The sorceress as well, a very powerful character. Evelyn, on the other hand, although she was one of Skeletor's more capable subordinates, she was not like his equal. She was not somebody that he, but Skeletor didn't have equals. He had subordinates. He had people that worked for him, not with him. And in this show, we saw Evelyn sort of starting to come into her own. One of the other criticisms I saw was like, oh, all women have to have a little bit of good in them. And so that's where we saw Evil Lynn as she develops through the show, and they, they start to see her kind of, they pick away at the iceberg that is Evil Lynn. And somebody was like, well, why? Can't she just be a bad guy? Does she have to be soft and squishy on the inside just because she's a woman? Not necessarily. But it was a story technique. It was a writing technique of making you, like sympathize with the villain. I mean, we do that in every Marvel movie. We end up sympathizing with the villains. So you're not going to sympathize with Skeletor at all, of course. But I mean, they even did try to do that.
No, Skeletor is not a sympathetic villain.
No,
he is the cackling villain.
Yeah, he's a cackling evil villain. Now, they tried to do that a little bit with the previous Masters of the Universe reboot that they did back in like 04 and 05 or whatever it was, where they made Skeletor, it revealed that Skeletor was actually King Randor's half brother or brother or something like that. And like he was actually Adam's uncle, and he was known as Keldor. And he was and then he got into basically a mystical accident that turned him into that, stripped the flesh from his face and cursed him to be the character that he was. And they actually did a bunch of comic books about it too. So I don't know if it's going to be in continuity. The Masters of the Universe, the show that they're doing now, they're pulling continuity from all kinds of stuff. So in fact, there's some Easter eggs that come up in some later episodes and that are like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's, I remember that from the little comic books that came with the action figures, things like that. So I think the thing that upsets me the most is just how people, it's been a while since we've seen such a negative backlash on it so quickly, like Star Wars fans and Star Trek fans can both be very vocal.
Yep.
And they will, Rian Johnson this, and the new prequel, the prequels and the new sequels that, and I don't like this, I didn't like Solo and whatever else. But this was like within 3 days, people were like, fuck this, Kevin Smith, go to hell, and you're like, guys, let's put it in perspective here. This is well written, So what did you think? I mean, I've been talking my ass off. What did you think of the first 2 episodes that you saw?
I thought they're beautifully animated. The storytelling is okay so far. Not crazy about the speed at which they're moving the story along.
I agree with that.
I think it seems a little rushed at the beginning.
I agree. Yep.
But overall, I'm liking it. I mean, at least enough to give it. I don't have a problem with He-Man not being in it.
Yeah.
He-Man was never one of my favorite characters.
Right.
And
see, I loved He-Man, but if you're going to tell me a good story using some of these other characters, have at it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, overall, I'm liking it.
I think people are going to be much happier with when they see the entire season as a whole. I did see Kevin Smith did make some kind of statement. I think it was like a tweet or a Twitter or maybe a TikTok. I don't know what the fuck. Something that starts with a T. And he made a kind of a statement saying that the second arc of the first season is now going to be Evil Lynn's story. And they're going to be dealing more with Evil Lynn, and you'll see what happens in the 5th episode. And it's pretty spectacular. And I don't want to get into it until you've seen it. I know some of our viewers might have already watched it or already have seen it, and the people are listening to it. I guess those guys complaining really love the banana hammocks. That's true, CD.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of banana hammocks on this show. But they're a bunch of mad, like, middle-aged guys who are like, I want my He-Man. Where's He-Man? Grow the fuck up. They're telling a good story, and that's what they need to do. And then, so that's the thing, though. Some people have been saying, great, now Kevin Smith says there's going to be even less He-Man because they're going to be dealing with, that Evil Lynn is going to be the main a main character. I mean, like I said, He-Man was a very male-oriented show. The reason why they made She-Ra is because they found out that girls were watching He-Man very heavily too, because they were watching it with their brothers, they were liking it, whatever. So they let's make She-Ra, let's make a female version of the show, and we can sell a whole bunch of dolls to them.
This isn't what I think, but I know that the Mattel, Hasbro, everyone it was.
It's Mattel.
When they were like, oh, there's girls watching this. You know what we need? We need a He-Man Barbie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, I mean, if you watch on Netflix, there's also a documentary about Masters of the Universe. It's really fucking cool, about how they talk to the original designers. They talk to some of the artists and the people that were on board at the show in the mid '80s, and they talk about the movie and stuff too. And that's the other thing. There's some other He-Man or other Masters of the Universe things that are also in production. Netflix has a different He-Man show that's supposed to be more oriented towards kids. Another one coming, and there's a new live action show or live action movie that's in the works. So this isn't going away, and I'll bet that Netflix will still at least give this a second season, even after all of because people are watching it. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. They may be like angry about it, but people are not going to not watch this, and I think it's going to appeal to a younger audience. I mean, the She-Ra cartoon was the new one, which I still haven't watched, but I am planning on it. I've heard it's really good.
I was never into She-Ra.
No, but I hear the new one is really good, and it's very, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's very woke, and it's very like LGBTQ friendly and all these various different things, but it's a very powerful, positive setting, and message. Hang on. I'm just hearing a bunch of weird noise. I think there's people are drag racing down the freeway or something. That was weird. Anyway, and I'm not that, I mean, I'm close to the freeway, but I'm not that close to the freeway. So anyway, I think it is going to get a second season at the very least. And I think eventually Kevin Smith is going to be lauded for this show. People are going to be like, yeah, this is brilliant stuff. And he wrote the first episode, and he is the showrunner. I don't know if he wrote the additional episodes. So I guess I'm just mad. I'm mad that all these people are freaking out, and they haven't even came out the full season yet. It's like ridiculous. Humans are shit sometimes.
Yeah. But overall, I'm enjoying the show. I'll give a better review when I watch the other 3 episodes. So shouldn't take me too long.
All right, we'll talk about it again next week, and kind of you can give me and we can talk about some of the spoilers, and you can give me your true, like how you feel about
it. Okay. And then speaking of childhoods and stuff, I wanted to bring this up. This is something I saw. A friend of mine posted this on Facebook, and it's actually a tweet that someone posted. Aaron Ekins, at Queerly Autistic, is the person's Twitter handle, but it says, "I've come to the conclusion that the sole purpose of homework is to condition children into accepting that unpaid overtime and ridiculous hours and not even being able to escape work, even in your own home, are all normal things to expect in their future." And that hit me.
Yeah.
Like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, holy shit. That's true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually pretty astute. I never really thought of it that way, but yeah.
I didn't either. I'm like, but it made me go, wow.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. When I guess you don't really think about it that way, but yeah. Like it prepares us for having to work more.
Yeah, and the idea that you're always working and you can't even escape it when you're at home, type of thing. It's always there. That just, I'm like, holy shit. But one of the things that Renee brought up when I was talking to her about this earlier tonight was that schools actually help indoctrinate people to work in places like factories, because
for sure.
you're trained to show up at a certain time, be in a certain place, stay in that certain place for a length of time, do all your work there, have lunch at a certain time, and go home at a certain time.
Wow, thanks for really depressing me, Chris. No, you're right. You're very right. That's very true. I guess I never really thought about it that way, but yeah. Damn. It's messed up, man.
Yep. Like, damn, yeah, I never thought of it that way. Holy shit. Anyway, that was just something I wanted to throw out there because, like I said, that was like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
When I saw that.
For real. Absolutely.
And there was another thing I saw on Facebook, and I haven't seen was that posted, because I had a couple of friends that just post so much stuff, and I know who it was. Yeah. So this is one, and I'm guessing this is a picture from Black Widow, because it's talking about it shows this young girl by like a truck, got like blue hair, and it shows she's sobbing. It says, it like gives the line, which I'm not going to say until I read this, but it says, in Black Widow 2021, it's clear from the very beginning that all events happen in a fictional, unrealistic universe, because nobody ever said, I want to stay in Ohio in real life.
I want to stay in Ohio in real life?
Well, yeah. No one ever said, quote, I want to stay in Ohio, end quote, in real life. And I guess that's what this character says. I want to stay in Ohio.
Oh, man.
You can tell it's a fictional movie because no one has ever said that.
Nobody's ever said that, yeah. I still haven't seen Black Widow. I'm hoping to see it maybe this weekend.
I'm hoping to, too.
Because it's driving me crazy.
A friend of mine is having her 50th birthday party on Saturday. And I said, as long as I wasn't, tied up with work, I'd stop by there. And then I just also found out that a friend's coming into town. So I plan on going over to a buddy's house where we're all going to get together and hang out on Saturday too. So
okay, I want to get out to it because I'm planning on getting out to my friends and I are going to hit Bristol the following weekend.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to do that now before things get nuts. So.
Yeah. Well, and then I might go see it. Maybe I'll go see it Sunday.
Yeah, can't do it Friday because, guys, we're gaming on Friday night.
Tavern Nights.
Tavern Nights.
Twitch.
This Friday night. Yeah, you don't want to miss it. So yeah, we're gaming Friday night.
But hey, we got another follower.
Yeah, I heard that.
2019. Thanks a lot for following.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thanks for following.
Yes, CD, the Bristol Renaissance Fair.
Yes, the Bristol Renaissance Festival in Kenosha, I believe, Wisconsin, or right around Kenosha. It's just a bit north. It's about, I don't know, like half an hour drive north of Chicago or something.
Oh, he says he's close-ish to that.
Oh, that's cool. Yep, going out on Saturday. We're gonna drive out on Friday night and Friday evening, and then go on Saturday.
I'm gonna need you to be there on Saturday.
Yeah, I had the thought of maybe going on the Sunday as well, but I'm like, nah, I don't need to go on Sunday too. I mean, I'll probably see. I'll probably see everything that I need to see on Saturday. I mean, Sunday would probably just be more drinking. I don't need to do that. So yeah, we'll probably crash Saturday night though, and then just drive early back Sunday, or back early Sunday. Because I mean, there was a thought of possibly driving back Saturday night, but I think we might be a little too wiped out from the day and stuff to do that. So probably just going to drive back early Sunday morning.
Yeah, actually, the friend that's coming in for this weekend is actually lives in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, right on.
Lake Geneva area.
I gotta admit, I am really looking forward to this. I've never been to the Bristol Renaissance Festival, and I've heard really good things, and I'm I think it's gonna be fucking badass. So I've been wanting to go for honestly years. I just never had the opportunity, or never taken the opportunity to do this. So that's what I'm doing. So cool. I gotta make sure I get out and see Black Widow this weekend. I could just spend the extra the $30 and do it on Disney Plus, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to fucking do that, man.
I don't either. And I actually kind of want to see it on the big screen. Granted, I have a big screen now, but I want to see it on the actual big screen.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. So that is what
the resolution might be nicer on my TV than
on the screen. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you got a really nice TV, so I mean, yeah, that's the thing. We got these TVs that are I mean, holy crap, they're so incredible. They're really kind of almost better than a lot of these than some of the theater stuff.
Yep.
But I still really, really like seeing it at the theater.
Yeah, I do too. I love that surround sound is really what gets me. I don't have the sound system.
Sure.
I got a big TV, but I don't have the surround sound system.
Well, for me, it's just really the experience, more than anything else. I think just going to the theater and enjoying a film in the theater.
So, one of the things that we were also going to talk about, we can move on to this, is the Olympics started last weekend.
Right, exactly.
In Tokyo, a year late, but they're going on. They're having horrible problems with COVID.
Right.
Like Thursday, the day before the Olympics started, there were 19 people that had tested positive or something like that.
Wow, that's incredible.
For COVID, and I think they're up to 127 as of Sunday. That have tested positive. So that's a definite issue. But along with that, we've had I think it was the Norwegian team, Norwegian beach handball team.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to wear the same type of shorts that the men's team wears.
Right.
Which are basically like spandex shorts.
Yeah, like a short, like a kind of
a bike
short, maybe like a short bike short.
Yeah.
Not like one that goes all the way down to their knees, but just, it wasn't the bikini bottoms that they.
Yeah, it wasn't the skimpy ass bikini bottoms that them and the volleyball players the female volleyball players have always been required to wear. That's actually a required uniform by the Olympics.
Correct. Yeah.
And they were fined for it.
Right. Also, Germany, the German, I think it was the German gymnastics team wore full body bodysuits too. So this isn't just that. I mean, they did that also in kind of protest. So instead of wearing like a leotard that, or whatever that shows off all of their skin, no, it's still a tight fitting outfit, so they can still do, or a close fitting outfit, so they can still do all the gymnastic stuff, but they're not wearing something that is, that's sexualized, because that's the thing we're seeing a lot of, and have been seeing for many, many years. We've been seeing all of these, this highly sexualized version, versions of uniforms for these female athletes.
Now, here's the thing: if they want to wear that, then they should be able to wear it. But if they want to wear something else, they should be able to wear that too. If the men don't have to wear skimpy ass outfits,
yeah,
then the women shouldn't either. I mean,
it should be a choice. Now, Stella and I discussed this, and Stella came at it from the perspective of a dancer, and she used to say that, she goes, there were times when a leotard is really hot, and tights are really, a leotard and tights, and the things that they would have to wear at rehearsals and stuff could get really uncomfortable because it was just so hot. And she said that wearing a close-fitting outfit, though, is very important, because you need to be able to see whether where the muscle line is, and with which muscles are flexing and which muscles are not. Because if you don't, you could potentially hurt yourself. And I went, all right, fair enough. I am not a dancer, nor am I a acrobat, nor am I an athlete at all.
Exactly.
So I can't really speak on that. What is it? My wife blamed the patriarchy, and it's so true. Guys are making those uniform regulations. Very true. Very true. And
Yep.
those and I said to her, I go, well, Stella, they should at the very least have the ability to choose what uniform they want to wear. If they want to wear something that that shows off their incredible athletic body and shows off as much as possible, fine, great, more power to them. Absolutely, do it. I like looking at beautiful athletic bodies. Great. But it's the fact that they have no choice in the matter, that they have to wear these.
Take away the choice, and that's a problem.
Right. They have to wear these uniforms that are designed to attract the male gaze, to try and attract more men to watch the Olympics or watch female sports in general. It's not just the Olympics, female sports in general. I saw a post on Facebook that showed the differences between that the athletes have to wear between the male and the female, two pictures. And, guys are always wearing, some of the outfits they wear may be close fitting, but they're not sexualized. They're not highly sexualized. Whereas the girls all have their asses hanging out, they're very skimpy outfits and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like looking at pretty girls as much as the next guy, if not more so. But I do not like to be pandered to, and I don't think that these athletes should be forced to, be sexualized. Look, if I want to see that kind of thing, I'll look at porn, or I'll go to a strip club or whatever else. These girls, that's in that situation. That's what those women are trying to do. They are being sexualized, and they're choosing to be sexualized. But these athletes are not, and they shouldn't be forced to do that. And I think it's terrible.
I agree. Well, did you also see that Pink came out and offered to pay their fine?
Yeah, she paid. I think she wanted to pay all the German girls' fines.
No, I thought it's the Norwegian. What I read.
Was it the Norwegian one?
Yeah, it was 1,300 euros. I think is what the fine was.
Awesome. That's great. Good on her, man. I've actually always liked Pink.
I have too. Pink's fantastic.
She really is.
She's a hell of an entertainer, and
yeah,
and I love her voice too.
I've always liked her music. Yeah, I think she's fantastic. So,
she's that rock pop that I liked.
Yeah, she had a pop music with a very like kind of rock kind of back tone, and
and I loved her. She's always had that like, fuck you, it's I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do attitude. And
yeah,
I've
absolutely.
Always, even in her music. I mean,
I agree.
What the hell is the one song? Doing Your Hand.
Yeah, it's You and Your Hand Tonight, or whatever it's called. Yeah, that was great. She's really, really she's cool and talented, and she's one of those singers that stands up for these kinds of things.
She does Ariel.
She does. She would sing while she was doing Ariel.
Yep.
It was really impressive. So thank you, Pink. More power to you. Thank you for standing up for these women and offering to help them out, because it wasn't a terrible fine. It was like $175 each, but still, it's bullshit. And I think it comes down to a lot of these men that are like, we gotta make more money. We gotta put eyes on these girls. We gotta put butts in the seats. I remember when they were putting together the WNBA, and there was discussion of the uniforms the women were going to be wearing were going to be like tight fitting. And there was absolutely no reason, and they all basically said, fuck that. And I'm going to wear basketball shorts and a basketball uniform like other basketball athletes. And I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Stand up for yourself. Don't let these horny, gross dudes, do that to you. We're like, well, we gotta, this is how we're going to sell, tickets. Because they were like, well, they weren't getting enough people showing up to the games and, in the stadiums and stuff like that. And they were having a tough time selling, ad space when they were televising the games. dude, you know, athletes will watch athletes, you know, and by sexualizing it, it's just disgusting, you know.
Yep. So
Like I
more
said,
power to you, ladies. We're behind
yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. We're
Wear
behind
what you
you.
want. As long as you can play and compete, wear what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeez.
I'm not watching sports for that anyway. I want to see good. I want to see good competition. That's really what I want to see in anytime I'm watching sports.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't watch a lot of Lions games.
Uh, 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 uh,
Um. So moving on though, the heyo.
Heyo.
You posted on the on our Facebook page the latest trailer for another much delayed movie thanks to COVID,
Yep.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. I
Correct.
was really looking forward to this last year. I think it was supposed to be out last August.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And now they're saying it'll be out this November. This trailer gives us a little bit more. It's a lot of the same stuff that we saw in the previous trailer from last year, but this is the first time that I know of that we're seeing a release date for it now, and it's the first time I've seen a trailer for it in
this is
close to a year.
This is the first full trailer, like, because the previous ones were just teasers. But I mean, it was like a 1.5-minute teaser, but this is the first like
2-minute trailer,
2.5 minute trailer. So hopefully you guys caught it because it looks great.
It does.
I'm really, really excited about it. Bill Murray has given his stamp of approval. I mean, Bill Murray showed up in the previous Ghostbusters, movie with that was more female centric, and he was like, he actually, I mean, he didn't play Peter Venkman, but he was in it, as was Stan Aykroyd, had a cameo, and Winston Zedmore. I'm blanking on his name right now, but Ernie Hudson. Thank you. They all like kind of signed off, but I don't think any of them were fully kind of completely happy with how the third one went off. I personally wasn't entertained by it. I thought it was funny.
Never actually watched that one.
It's not near as bad as a lot of people think try to say it is. It was an entertaining, fun movie, and I think it was we once again we're falling into that dangerous kind of place where you got these dude bros that are all pissed off that they put women in their franchise, and it was fun. It was fucking fun. So those guys can just like go to hell, really. I mean, this one I think is going to be it's going to be amazing. Now they are going with a direct sequel in that it deals with Egon's family. Egon has passed away. His grandchildren, right? Egon has passed away.
His daughter and his grandchildren.
Yes, so he's passed on the house to his daughter.
A house out in the middle of nowhere,
right? Like someplace in like farm country. And we do see Annie Potts has returned as Janine. Obviously, the two of them.
Everybody's coming back.
Oh yeah,
a
little bit. She comes back as Janine. Egon and Janine got together and had a family, and I think that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, because you hear her say, "Yeah, your dad couldn't even keep the lights on."
Had a tough time keeping the lights on. Yeah, and I'm like, all right, awesome, that's fucking great. So we're gonna see the return of those characters, and obviously the granddaughter is something of a she's something of a brainy nerd type. Her Finn Wolfhard, who you'd know from Stranger Things, he's in the movie as well.
He's the son.
He's the son. They discover a bunch of Ghostbusters.
The grandson of Egon. Actually.
Grandson, yeah. But they discover a bunch of Ghostbusters stuff, and then there is some sort of supernatural mystery that they've got to combat, or supernatural. I have a feeling
what it's going to be is that Egon built a containment unit
down in the mines
underneath his property, and that it broke down.
Yeah,
and from the way the preview looks, it looks like it releases all of them, because you see a lot of the same creatures from the previous, like the dog creature of Zool's is there. You see a whole bunch of little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's I have a feeling that there's going to be some of that. Rick Moranis is not in it. Rick Moranis is pretty much retired from acting.
Yeah, he is. He only comes back for very, very specific things, like that one commercial he just did for Ryan Reynolds' like phone company.
Yeah,
he came back for that commercial, and the only reason he came back was just like, or the only reason Ryan Reynolds wanted him back was just to say, "Hey, man, I'm a huge fan." And it was really great. Rick Moranis basically he retired from acting to raise his children because his wife had passed away, and I actually read about it a lot. And so yeah, and apparently he's made some really great great investments, and he took care of himself, and he took care of his kids, and so he's just fine.
But we are getting Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts. All of them are coming back.
Right. We did see at the end of the trailer, we did see them looking at the old commercial, the old Ghostbusters commercial. We're ready to believe you. And then they flashes the phone number. So they actually call the phone number, and it's the occult bookstore that Aykroyd's character Ray Stantz had. He in the second movie, it obviously opened an occult bookstore, and you see him answer the phone. He's like,
somebody answers the phone.
Somebody answers, but it's Aykroyd's voice, and
isn't it? I thought it was Bill Murray's voice.
I think that was Aykroyd. I'm pretty sure that was Aykroyd.
But we'll find out in November.
Yeah, or we could watch it again and check it out.
But I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be great. I like that they're doing a direct sequel.
Yes.
I think it's interesting that that's the way they're doing it. It's also directed by Jason Reitman.
Right, Ivan Reitman's son.
Who Ivan Reitman did the first one.
Right.
It's also written by Gil Keenan, Jason Reitman, and Dan Aykroyd.
Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. Aykroyd is involved. Great, awesome. I'm glad that some of the original writers involved. I'm glad that a lot of the original cast is coming back, at least even if it's just for like a cameo and stuff. I like the fact that we're seeing some of the old, like, maybe ghosts or characters back. It looked like maybe there was Slimer.
Yeah, at least a much better digitized version of
exactly. Slimer's a classic character. I mean, he was more so made he was made more important in the cartoon. He was like a sidekick of the character of the Ghostbusters in the
But that's the thing, is in the movie they just trapped him.
Right. He was the first ghost they trapped.
Yeah.
And so it should that could be cool too, just to see him return and stuff like that. So
looking at me, Ray.
He's looking at
Ghost blows its nose and you want to keep some.
Some great lines. I mean, that's the thing. Ghostbusters was part of that year. Arguably, a lot of people say that 1984 was one of the greatest years for movies. And
85 was one of the best for music.
Yeah, I'd say 84 and 85. There's some really great movies in that, because you also had like in 85, you also had Back to the Future. So you had all these really great movies.
Which that was one of the things. Have you seen the memes on Facebook where they're saying this is the show we need to see, and they're bringing Marty in because of jumping through time. They bring Marty in, and they got the collar on him. He's sitting across from Mobius.
That's funny. I would fucking love that. I would watch that shit. So yeah, we were seeing. It was 84 is a great movie, and they still, to this day, there is the phrase Ghostbusters money is a thing that gets thrown around in Hollywood, because Ghostbusters cost like $30 million, or something like that. Back in 84, it cost very little comparatively than to make a good movie, and it made unbelievable amounts of money, and still has made unbelievable amounts.
All right, so let's just real quickly, because I mean, there's a couple other things I want to get to, but just, you were mentioning 1984 for movies.
Yeah.
So not only do we have Ghostbusters, but we had Romancing the Stone.
Correct.
2010, Dune, Gremlins, The Never-Ending Story.
Right.
Buckaroo Banzai, The Terminator, Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, well, you know.
The Last Starfighter.
Man.
Police Academy. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Oh, the Ewok Adventure came out that year.
Oh, man.
V 1984. 16 Candles. Beverly Hills Cop. Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first one. Revenge of the Nerds. Red Dawn, the very first PG-13 movie of all.
That was the very first PG-13 movie.
On Time in America. Oh, Top Secret. Conan the Destroyer. Footloose. Star Trek: The Search for Spock. Firestarter.
Star Trek. Wait a minute. Star Trek 2 was Star Trek 2: The Search for that's
3.
Star Trek 3.
Yeah, that was the.
You're right. Wrath of Khan was 2.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan was 2. Ghostbusters, Firestarter, Karate Kid, Purple Rain, Flash, Muppets Take Manhattan, Streets of Fire. Oh, Chud came out in 1980. Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers.
Hmm.
The Natural,
I remember that
one. Against All Odds. Supergirl. A very 80s movie, Hard Bodies.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
The Toxic Avenger.
Oh, man.
Amadeus. Starman. Night of the Comet. Dude, there's just so many that came out that year. Children of the Corn.
Wow.
Body
These are
Double.
all 84, right?
Yeah, these are all 84. Repo Man. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Which wasn't the final chapter.
No, it wasn't. There was many more chapters.
Yes, Hard Bodies was raunchy. That was a typical 80s sex comedy. It was gratuitous nudity for no other reason than to show boobs.
It was, yeah, exactly. There was, and that's the thing. There were a lot of those movies in the mid-80s.
Yeah, that's why I said it was a typical 80s sex.
Yeah, just like a lot of those. And honestly, I mean, like, I have a certain affection for those, because I'm like, I don't know, we grew up like watching those movies or wanting to watch those movies. You know, mom and dad may not let us, so we'd sneak it or whatever else, and you know, kind of be surreptitious about watching it and finding out when it was going to be on HBO or Cinemax, and you know, turning it on late at night when your parents were in bed.
Yep. And I'm looking at 85, and I mean, again, just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there were some really great movies. Both of those years, man, some really, really fantastic.
85
movies.
brought us Real Genius. Oh, shit. That's an alarm.
Oh, I loved Real Genius, man. That was a classic. That's one of my favorites. It really is.
That's more.
You all right?
Yeah, let me, we're going to move on in just a second, but I need to text somebody real quick.
All right. So anyway, the Ghostbusters film, it's coming out in November 11th. So they did give us a date. So right around Thanksgiving. It said Thanksgiving of 21, but
yeah, I think you looked it up and it was November 11th. Wasn't
it? On the article it said November 11th. So we're just going to be seeing some it's going to be super exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I like the fact that also Paul Rudd is going to be.
Yes, I really like him in this. He looks like he's going to be a kind of a cool character. I think he's like the teacher or something like that.
The science teacher at their school, and he seems to know a bit about the Ghostbusters. So I'm like, all right, cool. He's a bit of a fan. Like they find a old, like they find a trap, one of the Ghostbusters traps. And he's like, hey, great replica. And he's like, I don't think this is a replica, guys. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I love that too, how we're gonna get to see probably some of the science, some of the tech that Egon was probably developing that we didn't get to see post Ghostbusters 2. Like the fact that the Ecto had a gunner seat and stuff. Like we might even see some stuff that came from the Ghostbusters video game, because the Ghostbusters video game was actually a true sequel to
Which I think
Ghostbusters
that
2.
might be where that comes from, because I know I've seen that
I
before.
think it might be too, if I remember correctly. I did play the game. I had it on my PS3. I think it was the 3. It might have been the 4. Was it the 4? I'd have to look. I'm sure it's probably not. I think it was the 3. And it was a great game. They brought everybody back. They all did the mocapping for it. It was before Egon had passed away, because he actually has passed away.
Yep.
I just tell you, I'm really, really excited for this. Man, don't you hate it when your mother gets on Facebook and has nothing better to do but to post inane, stupid shit all day? It's not really, I guess, that's probably being a little harsh. It's just, she posts like affirmations and silly videos pretty much all day. I'm just like, oh God, Mom, one more cat video, the cat riding a Swift or a
Roomba.
A Roomba all over the house. Come on. I love my mother, but man, I tell you, I'm tired of seeing some of these things.
We're starting to get closer to the end of the show here.
Right.
There was one thing I did want to bring up though, before we went going. Did you have anything else that you really wanted to get to?
Yeah, I think we touched on pretty much everything I was going to talk about today.
Okay, so something that came out over the weekend that I saw, actually it was July 21st, so it actually came out the day after our show last week. And I sent you a text right away when I saw it, and I'm like, dude, we have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
Activision Blizzard. So Blizzard is the company that makes World of Warcraft and Diablo and all those. They were bought up by Activision several years ago. So
Activision is a huge gaming company now. Like, it's one of the biggest.
From way back in the Atari days, I remember when people had Activision systems.
Yeah, or Activision games, and yeah, for sure.
So that company, one second.
Well, that company is basically being sued because it has created a toxic work environment.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna mute myself here.
Okay. Are you muted? I don't think he's muted, guys, just so you know. So anyway, the system has, or the video game company Activision has come under fire. They're being sued for creating a toxic work environment. Apparently, very misogynistic and very much, what was they calling it? Like a fraternity kind of, or a frat kind of situation. It's okay. There are a lot of women that apparently have come forward saying that they've been passed over for jobs and they get sexually harassed. And
I actually wanted to. I don't normally read the articles that I found, but this is one I actually wanted to read. Sorry, just trying to finish this off here.
It's kind of a long. It's kind of a long article, so just try and hit the big points.
Well, it's not that long. You've read much longer. But basically, this is from Bloomberg. Bloomberg Law, actually, and it says video game giant Activision Blizzard Incorporated, maker of games including World of Warcraft and Diablo, fosters a frat boy culture in which female employees are subjected to constant sexual harassment, unequal pay, and retaliation, according to a lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. A 2-year investigation by the state agency found that the company discriminated against female employees in terms of conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination. Company leaderships consistently failed to take steps to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, the agency said. According to the complaint filed Tuesday in the Los Angeles Superior Court, female employees make up around 20% of Activision's workforce and are subjected to a pervasive frat boy workplace culture, including cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. The agency alleges male employees play video games during the workday while delegating responsibilities to female employees, engage in sexual banter, and joke openly about rape, among other things.
Yeah.
Female employees allege being held back from promotions because of the possibility they might become pregnant, being criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare, and being kicked out of lactation rooms so male colleagues could use the room for meetings. Female employees working for the World of Warcraft team noted that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and otherwise engage in demeaning behavior, the agency alleges. It also points to a female Activision employee who took her own life while on a company trip with a male supervisor. The employee had been subjected to intense sexual harassment prior to her death, including having nude photos passed around at a company holiday party.
Jesus Christ.
The agency seeks an injunction forcing compliance with workplace protections as well as unpaid wages, pay adjustments, back pay and lost wages, and benefits for female employees. We value diversity, and this is a quote now, we value diversity and strive to foster a workplace that offers inclusivity for everyone. There is no place in our company or industry, or any industry, for sexual misconduct or harassment of any kind, a spokesperson for Activision said in a statement. We take every allegation seriously and investigate all claims and cases related to misconduct. Action was taken to address the issue. The DFEH includes distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. We have been extremely cooperative with the DFEH throughout their investigation, including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation, but they refused to inform us of what issues they perceived, the statement continued. The picture the DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today, the company said. That's the end of the article. So basically Blizzard's saying, no, that's not who we are now. That might have been what it was in years past, but that's not what it is now. I'm sorry though, this was a 2-year investigation.
Yeah.
This is not like something that just happened, or
right. This didn't happen like 5 years ago. This happened recently.
Within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fucking bullshit. And I'm gonna cancel my WoW subscription.
You're gonna go that far?
Oh yeah, dude, I can't condone that. I can't give them money.
Well, what if
they straighten shit out? Maybe I'll come back. But,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what if they are being sued? I mean, what if what if there's this big class action and they pay out?
If there are restitutions made and they take care of the underlying problems, that's another story. But they're going to lose my business for now.
Yeah.
I don't see myself buying another Blizzard game. I
haven't been a big Blizzard guy to start with. I played StarCraft, and I've always loved Warcraft. I love StarCraft. I never played StarCraft 2. That was one I played. StarCraft 2 was my thing.
I was a big Diablo fan. Although I found Diablo 3 kind of boring.
I played some Diablo 2. I played some StarCraft 2. I played a little bit of Diablo at the beginning. It was just like I don't know. I like a more of an RPG element. And I played World of Warcraft for like a month when I was staying with Sean and Sarah. Well, maybe 2 months when I was staying with Sean and Sarah when World of Warcraft went free. And but I've never been like this big Blizzard guy, and they sit on a mountain of money.
Yes, they do.
Like they are one of the richest, and since Activision took them over, they are one of the richest gaming companies.
And that's the thing. So I know my little, canceling my subscription isn't going to hurt them at all.
No, of course not.
They don't care. They've got millions of subscribers.
Correct.
And odds are most people aren't going to cancel their subscriptions. They're not going to stop playing WoW.
That might stop them from it might stop them from buying future games, though.
Maybe. I have other games I can play.
Right.
I'm playing New World right now. Not that giving Bezos any more money is
Right.
is a great thing, but
Well, you know what? You're keeping gamers and other artists in work.
yeah, and it is a beautiful game. I'm probably going to stream some at some point.
Well, that's cool.
Over the next week or so.
I'm
Because
gonna
you can
wait.
actually, because it's an Amazon game, you can link your Twitch account with your game, and you can actually get special loot when you're in game, and you can invite your Twitch followers and subscribers to join you in the game, and it's all sorts of things.
That's cool. I'm gonna probably get into that game after it's fully released, because you're playing
I'm playing the closed beta.
You're playing the closed beta, right? Okay. I'll probably wait on it, but I am looking forward to playing it. I've heard some really great stuff about it.
It's pretty, and it's one of those active combat games where you have to hit buttons to attack, and it's not just press one button and do a special attack. It's you have to, like, the left mouse button attacks, the right mouse button blocks.
Okay.
So, and actually, I'm getting a call again, so we're probably gonna wrap things up in just a minute. I'll be right back. So.
Okay. So guys, let us know how you feel about this situation. If you are ready to give up the ghost on Activision. Boy, he didn't mute himself this time. Whispers. If you guys are, how do you feel about this? I'd like to hear how some of our fans and some of our viewers and whatnot feel about a company that is allowing that thing to happen and go on for as long as it has. I mean, a toxic work environment in this day and age is really something else. I mean, I'm honestly was really surprised to hear. Yeah, it's like, particularly with how much attention is brought on the gaming industry. I mean, you get it. Part of it actually doesn't surprise me all that much. I mean, there's so many. It's like it's a environment where you have a lot of, like, nerdy dudes that don't and not just nerdy dudes, but the fact that it is, video game creators are largely male. So I think, are you all set? You got it?
Yeah, it's the problem with being on call.
We got to hear half of your conversation too, so that was cool.
I was muted.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't. I could hear you.
Huh. Weird.
Yep.
See, so CD didn't hear it.
Okay, well then maybe you're just muted on the show, but not for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was muted on the show. So.
Okay.
Sorry if I was distracting you.
It's all right.
But yeah, so
I just want them to tell us. I want our viewers to tell us how they feel about it. Are they gonna cancel their WoW subscription? Are they going to maybe, like, keep the WoW but not buy anything else from Activision until they clean up this situation? I think that's kind of where I'm at. Because I mean, like I said, I don't tend to buy a lot of Blizzard products, but I mean, Activision is a big company. I might have be interested in something. I don't know.
Yep.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, sorry about that, guys.
It's all right, man.
Luckily, I'm only on call like 4 times a year now.
Well, there's that. That's good, at least.
Yeah, I won't be on call again until October, and then not again until the new year.
Not a big deal, brother. We can. It was not that invasive. Not a huge problem.
All right. Well, I think we covered a lot of things tonight.
Yeah.
We'll keep you informed on what we find. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'll be watching this case as it goes on. Of course, it's a lawsuit, so it may be 2 years before anything actually comes of it.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. If it makes enough noise, they could settle.
Yeah.
Because it could be enough that it would really damage their reputation, and they would want to settle out of court.
Yep.
I mean, hell, man, like I said, they sit on a mountain of gold. Yep. Blizzard is one of the, thanks to World of Warcraft, is one of the richest video game companies in the world. So, man, they could easily pay out, $50 million, $100 million to, half a dozen or a dozen different complainants, and you know, that's fine. They're not even going to feel that.
Yep.
You know, I remember one time doing the math about like how much they made per month on just World of Warcraft.
Oh, it's ridiculous, dude.
Like, well, when you think about how many people are like, I remember at the very beginning when they had 1 million subscribers, like right away, and they were making what, $15 a subscriber per month.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just 1 million. At a certain point, they were upwards of like 6, 7, 8 million subscribers worldwide, and they're bringing in, you know, $15 to $20 of subscription per month, let alone like the microtransactions that they might have, you know, had. Now, after a while, it went free to play and whatnot, but still, they were still bringing in money, man. You know, so that company is richer than God.
Yep.
They can afford to pay out, and I think that they should. So, but on that note, guys, be sure to join us every Tuesday night here at 8 o'clock on our Drinking Nerds Twitch channel. We sit around talking about nerdy shit and try not to get drunk. Every Friday night, or every other Friday night, guys, we also have our Tavern Nights D&D game. Come and see us. That is at 7:30, now 7:30 on Friday nights. It was 7 o'clock, 7:30. Also, again, on Drinking Nerds. Guys, we put the shows up on our YouTube channel, our Drinking Nerds YouTube channel, a couple of days later. And of course, you can download and stream all of our Nerds with Alcohol podcasts at all the places you can find quality podcasting. Guys, we're on iTunes, we're on the Google Play Store, we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and the Audacity app. Or Odyssey? Odyssey app. It's not Audacity. It's
no, Audacity is what I use to actually edit our
right, exactly,
our podcast.
But it is the Odyssey app as well. That's AUDICY Odyssey app.
Used to be radio.com.
Right, used to be radio.com. You can also find all of our shows at nerdswithalcoholshow.com.
And you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We're on Twitter at Drinking Nerds. We are on Instagram, Drinking Nerds, and we're on the Untapped app, or I'm on the Untapped app, Drinking Nerds. Just send us a friend request, and we added. You can also follow me directly on Twitter if you want, at Detroit Beer Guy.
Yeah, exactly. And as a last note, let's hope that Blizzard makes right. I mean, there's no reason why these toxic males need to be like that. Nope. They don't need to be like that. They can't. And there's a difference between a good-natured ribbing or, you know, the occasional bawdy joke and creating a toxic work environment.
There is no place for jokes about rape.
Exactly.
That's not a joke.
That's not a joke. That's not a joke. That's not a comment. Particularly in the work environment, for God's sake. You know, there is a big difference between like I said, the occasional ribald humor and or comment or something like that, and making a horrible toxic work environment that led to somebody committing suicide. That's horrible, absolutely horrible. Yep. I read the article, but I think I might have scanned it a little bit more, and I must have missed that part. So I feel bad about myself now.
Yeah, I wanted to read it because it goes into so much detail on.
You know what? I'm glad you did.
Along with I wanted to get Blizzard's side of it too. I wanted to put their statement out there.
Yeah. Exactly, and I'm glad you did that, because that needed to be said. That kind of information needs to get out.
Yep,
it needs to be out there. So,
all right,
yeah.
Well, I think on that note.
Yeah, on that note.
Until next time.
Plancha.
Yeah, it's not going to be that good because I got a full glass here.
Yeah, it's all right. Still was good, pretty good there.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Yeah. Good night.